Oh boy. Okay, here we go. You ready? That was classic when you did this last time.
Oh yeah, I should do that. Oh yeah, hold on.
I like that, dude. I kept that in the edit, dude. That was great. I was like, oh, I gotta keep this in.
That was pretty cool.
What's up, everybody? Thank you very much for stopping by. My name is Kevin Wilson, the host of BMX Podcast, and I'm joined by my co-host Danny Pena. And Danny's stretched. He's limber. He's ready to go.
That's our morning routine. Dude, I saw this thing on YouTube the other day. It's what the ancient Chinese exercises in the morning, and I was watching it, and they do things like this. You ever see that?
Yeah.
It's supposed to bring vitality, and it's supposed to improve your digestive and all that. I was like, I don't know, Kevin. Maybe you and I should just get up in the morning and just start smacking to.
Like, doing the Macarena or some shit, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for stopping by. Danny and I we're just having fun like we normally do. We appreciate you stopping by, and hopefully you enjoyed the show today. So far we've got some pretty positive feedback on the random comparison format, so that was kind of cool. I think we're going to try that again today. Also, we're going to be talking about stolen bike stories, and what else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Vegas, right? Because today's the last day of the Vegas National, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that and our national expectations versus our national disappointments, and then.
You want to do that this week, or you want to do that next week?
Oh yeah, we'll do that next week. Yeah, and then we have our random comparisons. We'll put that in there. Yeah.
And we need to put a disclaimer at the beginning of this saying the opinions voiced on this show do not reflect on anybody.
Yeah, it's like what was it? My kids used to watch iCarly, when they were young, and they would go random dancing, and that's what made me think of that, dude.
All right, man. So, anyways, yeah. So today's the third day of the National. I wanted to drive up there, but I ran out of money and I ran out of time, so I couldn't make it up. But have you heard from Nick how he's doing, or have you heard any race results or whatever? I know Joe Tippett's son made his main. Have you heard anything about anybody's racing?
I saw Howard Cato of Babs BMX. I think the day one he didn't get out of his semis, and then he finished third yesterday. He did really good. I saw that. There's a lot of clips of people just clipping their motos and their mains on Facebook. So there's a lot going on. And I talked to Ronnie Anderson yesterday, and Danica was out there racing, and she's 18 already, man. And he said she had kind of a disappointing performance this weekend, which I was surprised because she's got I think the most amateur wins and most NAG titles. So I told him last night, I go, man, I think it's ready. It's time for her to make that jump and let's go pro. She just might be bored of racing amateur. My opinion. I don't know her. But anyway, yeah, other than that, I don't really, I did see, something interesting is I did see Connor Fields was out there, the former gold medalist. Connor fell down in the last Olympics and almost killed himself, man. He hit his head so bad that he almost died. Yeah, and he was he recovered from that. But they told him if you could race, you're cleared to race, but you can't take another blow to your head like that. So he had to kind of make a decision: do I risk everything and try to do it again, or do I step aside? And he took a back seat to it. So he's not racing, but he was out there riding and promoting. He did a fly ad for the new fly gear. The new fly gear came out. I don't know if you've seen Kevin, but you should just go on YouTube really quick and just put Fly 2026. Stuff is so cool, man. I was like, I want some.
Well, okay. All right.
Yeah. So it looked really, really cool. And he did some riding for them. And then he showed up to Vegas because, he's a commentator, and he was doing some hot laps. So I thought, oh, that's so cool, man. And Connor, as far as modern day races, he was really way up there as far as some of my favorite riders. So when he got injured, it was really shocking to see him go down. I was like, oh my God, because he was just lifeless on the ground, when he fell.
Was that on a jump or was it on a turn? What was the? Did he get cut off? Was it just his fault? What happened?
He was fighting for first place, and they were going over the first jump, which is arguably the fastest point of the track, because they're coming off that giant hill, and he got clipped the rider behind him, which caused him to fall, and so it's like falling off a moving car. He's going that fast, and just boom, right into the paved turn. Yeah, and he was just out cold. And I watched this thing. As a matter of fact, I have it on my YouTube channel from last week. He said he woke up in the hospital in Japan and nobody was speaking English. He didn't know what was going on. He thought they thought he was going to die. It was all kinds of stuff. It was a pretty horrific crash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But he was out there, and he's commentating, and he's doing keynote speaking now, and his motivation speaks they're really good. I watched some on YouTube. I go, oh, man, this is pretty cool that he's kind of found another avenue, to express himself. So it's pretty cool.
Nice, dude. So one thing I watched a couple of the clips that you're talking about on Facebook, and the stands look pretty empty, bro. Pretty empty. I was like, man, there was one view of the guy. I think it was Robert Cardoza.
Yeah.
I watched his videos where the left side of the stadium, there was nobody. I was like, wow, dude, have you heard the same thing, that no one showed up?
Yeah, the moto count was low and the rider count was low, which is kind of disappointing because Vegas is kind of like the ideal place to do any event. I know there was a Raider game and Raider 49er game going on yesterday. Maybe that was a big distraction. And then there was I don't know. I had heard on the Beer Budget podcast, they were saying that, hey, the Vegas race is for parents. It's kind of expensive, obviously, to go out there, and it was a security that you had to go through. I don't think you could bring food in, and
you can't bring water into a BMX race. Did I read that right?
I don't know if it was water, but I know you couldn't bring anything in. They were like, I'm like, wow, the security was ultra high on that for that race.
Do you know if did US BMX tell the riders when they were signing up, hey, you can't do X, Y, and Z, or did they just sign everybody up and let them find out when they get to the track?
I think that's a question that we would have to ask somebody that was actually there, because I would only be going off secondhand information since I was obviously not there. Yeah. But yeah, it'd be a good question to get an answer to, and research.
I read a lot of the comments, and people were saying they were going through my 6-year-old daughter's gear bag, taking her chain rings on and making her empty her water and all the stuff. I'm all, wow, man.
Ow. I didn't know about the water.
Yeah, I heard it was like 120 degrees or something, and you can't have water, and it's just weird stuff, man.
Yeah, that is strange. I don't know. I wonder if that was for security purposes or to force you to buy from the venues. I really don't know.
Maybe both. Maybe both.
Yeah, that's crazy. For me, I don't know. When you go to a BMX race, a national, I think it's a family atmosphere, and everybody brings their own food and drinks, and it's just a hangout. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't be a lockdown like an airport. I don't think that's the way to do it. But I don't work for USA BMX, so I don't know what happened.
If it was me, I'd be coming in from the casino with a vodka Red Bull. Sorry, sir, you have to empty that out before you come in. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm good.
Wow. Well, you're a motocross fan. Can you imagine going to Anaheim 1 or Anaheim 2 and they say, sir, you need to empty your pockets. You can't go in there.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they do or not. It's been a while since I've been to one.
Yeah. So that's crazy. I've never personally been to a Supercross race. They used to be at the Oakland Coliseum, and it was on my bucket list. I go, man, I should just go to one of those just to experience what it's like, Oh, I have a question for you. Speaking of that, I saw a video with Barry Noble's Friday, and they were testing those e-bikes that look like dirt motocross bikes, and they were on motocross tracks riding them. It was him and another rider. And minus the sound, because there's no motors that are winding out and exhaust, it looks exactly the same, dude. What do you think of that e-bike revolution moving on to the motocross?
I see older guys complaining, bitching, boning about them on Facebook and stuff about these guys. Yeah, but if you know, I think I talked about it before. Where if that was around when I was a kid, boy, I'd be arrested every day, man. I'd be running from the cops all the time, dude. It looked fun to me.
Yeah, I think it has its own place. I thought it looked cool. I mean, and it's obviously it's better for the environment. It doesn't sound as cool. Let's face it. But it looked pretty awesome. And I imagine the bikes are probably lighter. I'd rather have a 200-pound e-bike land on me than a 400-pound motorcycle.
Yeah, well, I think they're around 200 pounds, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. Hey,
198, 197 is what a 450 weighs these days.
And that's fully wet, like filled with gas and all that. It's still going to be about that weight.
And now you got to ask me. I don't think so. I think gas is a little extra. I think the dry weight is like 198, 199, something like that.
Yeah, I better stick to what I know. Let's talk about BMX.
Before we get into the random comparisons, let's talk about stolen bikes, man.
Yeah, I have one story in particular that is crazy, and I'll tell mine because I know yours are better than mine.
No. Well, before we start, in the future, we would love to do a whole episode with guys telling stories of stolen bikes. This is just to get people's appetite, going, get their fingers wet to see what we're talking about. But right. I guess before we go into our bikes getting stolen, have you ever stolen a bike?
I've never stolen a bike. I can proudly say I've never stolen a bike.
Okay. Well, I have a story about how I accidentally stole a bike, and I didn't know that I stole the bike, and the cops came. So do you mind if I tell that story first, and then we'll go into yours?
Yeah, dude, go for it.
So I was in junior high school. I was probably, well, what's junior high school age? 14, 15?
Probably more like 13, more like 12 to 13.
Oh, okay, so I was in junior high school. I may have been 8th grade probably.
Yeah.
And I was coming, for some reason I didn't have my bike with me, and I was coming home late at night from my friend Chris's house, and I'm cutting down this alley. I'm all by myself. I would like to say I was at a party, but I'm way too young to go party. But I'm walking down this alley, and there's this old, like a Schwinn style bike. It wasn't a Schwinn. It was kind of like a Radial, maybe a Huffy.
Okay.
A Huffy knockoff of a Schwinn Stingray. And it was just laying in the middle of this alley. Right? It just laying there. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, I can grab this bike and ride this bike home. And so I don't have to walk. So I grabbed this bike. I go, bitch, I found a bike. So I got on the bike. I rode. I don't know. My house was like probably, a mile away from where I was. So I rode the bike home. I put the bike in my backyard. I forgot about it. I didn't think nothing of it. Okay. And at the time, we had this very mean pit bull named Hambone. And Hambone was the Hambone was the scourge of the neighborhood, right? Like no one wanted to come into our backyard because they were scared of Hambone. Now our good friends weren't scared of Hambone. He was friendly with them, but Hambone was in my backyard with the bike. Yeah. And so I go to school the next day, and I'm sitting in gym class. Now the teacher, the coach is like reading off what's going on with the class, and I'm sitting cross-legged right underneath him. He's like right in front of me, and I'm sitting right underneath him. And I look to my right, and I see 2 South Pasadena police officers walk in the gym, and they walk around. They walk up to the teacher, and they say, right. "Hey, is there a Kevin Wilson in his class?" And I'm sitting right below him, and he goes, "Yeah, I think so. Hold on." And he's looking. He goes, "Wilson, where are you at?" And he's looking around, and I'm sitting right underneath him, like, "Oh God, please don't." He goes, "Hey, there you are, Wilson. These 2 gentlemen want to talk to you." So they took me out. They took me outside. They picked me up by the shirt. They took me outside, and I'm like, "What's going on?" I really didn't know what I did. I had no idea. And they're like, "Did you get a bike from the alley behind Oxley yesterday, last night, whatever?" And I go, "Wait. Did you steal this bike?" I go, "What are you talking about? I found a bike. It was just laying in the middle of the alley." Yeah. And they're all, that bike is stolen. I go, "Look, man, I found the bike. I had no idea. I did not want to steal a bike. It was just by accident. I saw it was there. I thought someone abandoned it, so I rode it home." They're like, "Where's the bike right now?" And I go, "Well, the bike's at my house in my backyard." And they're like, "Okay, well, we're going to go get the bike." And I go, okay, no one's home, but you can go try to get it. And then they're like, well, we're gonna go in your backyard and get the bike. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Hambone's in the backyard. You gotta talk to Hambone first. And if I can find it, I'll put it up here. But
okay.
You can find, if you can get that bike out with Hambone back there, go for it. And they left, they went, and they got the bike somehow. I came home from school, and Hambone's fine, running around, and the bike's gone. So apparently the cops got in. Maybe they had animal control with them, and they got this bike. And this bike was the biggest piece of. It was nothing, man. It was a big piece of junk. But for some reason, how to this day, I still have no idea how people knew that I had the bike, or I found the bike, or I was the one that grabbed it. I have no idea, because I never told anybody about it. It was like a couple hours later. I'm at school when it happened. So anyways, that's my story of accidentally stealing a bike and getting busted by the cops.
Was it a Huffy or something like that? Do you remember?
It may have been a copy of a Huffy copy of a Stingray. Yeah, it was something. It was a piece of junk. Anyway, that's my story of stealing a bike. But going forward, what's your story? Because I have 2 good stories about bike. Well, I probably have 4, but go ahead. Well, let's hear your story.
So this is more my cousin's bike than mine, but it was one of the craziest stories ever. So, my cousin James started racing before me. So I had like a store-bought BMX bike, like a Kent. It was just a basic BMX bike, but it looked cool enough for me to ride it. And he had a full-on race bike at the time. And his bike was all tricked out, tough wheels, snake bellies, alloy bars, everything his bike was sweet, right? And anyway, in the morning, I went over, he lived across the street from me. So I go, hey, I got to go to the store for my mom and dad. He goes, oh, I'll go with you. So like the geniuses that we rode our bikes. So I was probably in the 6th grade. So he was probably in the 4th grade, So we ride our bikes to the store. And you remember the days, Kevin, where you can go get a newspaper out of the machine? So there was this big box, you open it up and take your newspaper out.
You take all of them.
Yeah. That was a pure honor system. One day we're gonna talk about weird things from the 80s, and that'll be one of them. We'll add that to our list.
I had no honor, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there was a row of those newspaper boxes. There was tons of them. There was probably like 6 or 7. So it was long. And so what we did was, I'm like, hey, we'll just put our bikes behind here. So we parked our bikes behind those little machines, and I go, they'll be fine. And we went in the store and we got what we needed, and we were gone 10 minutes. And when we came out, my bike was laying on the ground, and I already knew that was a bad sign. I go, why is my bike on the ground? And his was just gone. And I was like, oh no. And you should have seen his face, dude. He turned white as a sheet, like it was like, oh my God. And because his bike is gone, and we have to go tell his parents, my aunt, that his race bike is gone. I was scared. I was like, we're going to get in so much trouble, dude. Because they told us over and over not to ride our bikes to the store. But that was our transportation, dude. We wanted to ride them all the time. So in any event, the bike's gone, right? And a couple weeks go by, and my mom and his aunt, they decide they're going to get together and buy him a new race bike. So that's the plan. He's about to get a new race bike. So fast forward, man, we're playing touch football in the schoolyard. Me and my cousins and some friends were just playing, and this girl walks up. She must have been about, my best guess, about 16, and she has a little kid with them. He's probably about 7 or 8, and she just walks up to my cousin. Hey, was your bike stolen? And he goes, yeah. And next thing you know, all my cousins are standing around her. She goes, I know where it is. My brother took it. Not him, my other brother, my older brother. And I go, okay. I go, if you guys want to get it, here's my address, and it's at the house. So I'm thinking, how does that happen? Because most bikes are stolen, and there's about a 99% chance you're never going to see it again, right? We go in that garage. Kevin, that bike was in pieces all over his garage. They're like, here's your seat post, here's your frame. He had taken the entire bike apart, but we recovered the bike and we got to take it home. And I was thinking to myself, what are the odds? And that means that the neighborhood kids like you, somebody saw you on that bike, so they recognized these are the BMX kids. That's his bike. So they figured out who we were immediately, and we got the bike back. But that was about My best guess was at least a month after it had been gone, and he got it back. And it was a perfect order. They put it all back together. I couldn't believe it, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just one story. I mean, I've got more, but that's crazy but out of all the bikes that have been stolen, that's the only one that we recovered, with the exception, same cousin. He had a Diamondback. It was I want to say it was a Silver Streak, but it had gold components on it. And same scenario. His bike got stolen in front of a liquor store. I wasn't with him that day, but I recognized his parts from a mile away. And we were playing. We used to call it fast pitch, where we'd go in the schoolyard and we would just pitch at each other playing baseball up against a brick wall. And these kids, they were older than us, and there was probably about 10 of them on BMX bikes. And they stopped and they were kind of chatting by us. And I looked at that dude's bike and I go, James, I goes, that's your bike. And he goes, I know, because we recognized all the parts. All he did was take the parts and move them onto another frame. And I go, but we couldn't do anything, dude. We were way outnumbered. I go, there's nothing we could do. If we say that's your bike, they're going to kick our ass. And there's no way we could fight all these kids, So we just had to let it go. And that one just disappeared.
Oh, you never got it back? Never
got it back. Yeah, we didn't even think, because we were playing baseball. We didn't have our bikes with us, so they took off, and we're like, "There's nothing we can do." That was another story.
Did you guys say, "Hey, that's my bike," or you didn't say nothing?
Kevin, I regret that to this day, that I didn't say anything. I think we were just scared. Like, what are we going to say? We can't. We're way outnumbered with all these tough-looking kids, and it's just me and my cousin. And I'm like, we can't. There's nothing we can do, dude. And they rode off. And it was just gone forever, man.
Wow.
Yeah. What else do you got?
You didn't know who the kids were?
Nope, never seen them before in my life. Never saw them again either. That's why I was like, damn, man. The weird thing about bikes getting stolen is that weird sick feeling you get when you realize it's gone. You're like, oh, Jesus. It's like the last time a bike almost got stolen from me was in my house, dude. In my house. I had my GT Box Series sitting right here, and somebody broke in my house when I was at work. This was probably 2014. Somebody broke in my house. They packed up all my stuff downstairs. It was by the front door, along with my race bike. And my neighbor called the cops. He goes, something's wrong, because his garage door's open and he's at work. Because I live in a circle. We all know each other. And the cops came, and that guy went out the back window. And he didn't get anything except my Raider jersey.
But he didn't get the bike. He tried to get the bike. He didn't get it.
He tried to get it. I was like, oh man, he was about to make off with that. It was like it was laying on the ground. I was laying right by the front door. They had all my bags, all my tote bags, pillowcases, just filled with my stuff.
All the Pena family jewels, dude.
There's no jewelry. I'm wearing any jewelry that I have. This is it.
Yeah, you had your ESP stem in there, man.
Yeah, that's it. I have other ones, but I don't want to take up the whole podcast. You got another one, dude?
Oh, I have about 10 of them, dude. But
all right.
Hey, I say go for it. Like, okay, so I told this story. Well, I'm going to save the best one, I think, for last.
Okay.
Did you guys ever turn your bike over and put it on the seat and the handlebars, thinking that would somehow deter people from stealing the bike? Did you guys ever do that?
That's stupid. Yeah, you just flip it upside down. And you're like, okay, it'll take them a second.
Yeah. Oh, that'll deter someone from stealing it, man. So oh man. So I did that, and it was we used to go to the pool on summer days, and I had a blue PK Ripper with my blue Z rims. And I think I had SE bars, tough neck, and maybe a blue uni seat. And I had it turned upside down. And we're in the pool, and then there's a fence, and then there's where the stands where people watch. So I had my bike turned over and with my grip stuck in the hole of one of the chain link fence, thinking that was going to stop somebody. So I'm swimming, whatever, I'm doing my thing, and I turn around, and my bike's gone. Oh. So I'm like, oh man! So I run out. I try to get outside. I get dressed. My bike's gone. Whatever. I'm thinking, okay, it's done. So I don't know. I'm probably 15, 14 at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, my bike's gone. So I was without a bike for a couple months, I think.
Yeah.
And then we heard through the grapevine that we found out that we found the kid that stole my bike. For some reason, the kids talking. We found out who it was. But this kid was like 9 years old or 10 years. He was like way younger than I was. And this kid stole my bike. And I was like, this little kid stole my bike. So we all went up to this kid's house. He lived in an apartment building on top of the hill. And we went in there and we're banging on his door. Come out. We know you got my bike. We know you. And we're like banging on the door. And we're almost kicking in the kid's door. It was on a summer day and his parents weren't there. And we're kicking in the door saying, we want my bike back.
Oh.
And he wouldn't answer the door, right? So one of my other friends says, dude, I think it's downstairs. So we went downstairs and in an apartment building. And this apartment building had like a Mr. Miyagi kind of gate where people that live there can have a key to a lock and they can store their stuff in like this chain link area with like tools and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we went there and we were kicking it. We're like, okay, I can see my frame on this bench. And I go, there's my frame. And I'm kicking it. We're trying to get inside this thing. And we're kids, man. There was like my crew. There was like probably like 5 or 6 guys there that were on my side. And we called the cops. And the cops came. And they're all, well, who's been kicking in the door? We're like, well, we tried to get in. And the cop's like, no, hold on. So I told the guy, I go, I can identify my frame. It's a blue PK Ripper with multiple scratches amongst the frame. I'm trying to be specific and try to sound like I'm an adult. And my brother to this day will always go, dude, multiple scratches amongst the frame. So I'm trying to identify my bike to the cops. And the cops got in, they found it, and they say, okay, just take your stuff. And so I got most everything. I think I didn't get my bars back and maybe a number plate or something like that. But I got most of my bike back. And this kid, for the rest of the time I grew up in the city, he always ignored me. I never talked to him about it. I never said, hey, why'd you take my bike? But I just got my bike back and moved on. That was my bike. Okay.
Wow.
So it probably took me about a month to get my bike back. Same as with you and your cousin.
Did he strip it down? Was it all in pieces?
Yeah, pieces.
Wow.
So that was my bike, but my brother has actual 3 instances that I could talk about. The first one, our house was the center of the BMX universe in South Pasadena. Everybody came over to our house. And,
the quarter pipe and everything over there.
Yeah, we had a quarter pipe and everything. We used to park we lived on a major highway through South Pasadena called Fremont Street. And we used to put our bikes in line on my front porch. And you always wanted to be the first guy to line your bike up because it's harder for the bike to get stolen. You don't want to be the last guy because there's a high chance that your bike may get stolen. Now, why we didn't bring them in the house, which we normally would have done, but for some reason they were out on the porch. And my brother's a pretty fast guy. He was pretty in shape back in the day. And he comes out. We hear some commotion on the front porch, and he comes out and he sees this kid taking his GHP. So it was a GHP with CW bars. I think he had bullseye hubs, red line flights, and
it was tricked out.
This kid starts running with it and trying to get on the bike, and my brother starts chasing him, right? And this kid gets on the bike and he's bolting down the street towards the other city that's south of us. I think it was El Sereno. Wasn't a very good neighborhood going towards that way. And my brother's in like no shoes, just just flying, dude. Like my brother was fast. I could never beat my brother in a foot race. Yeah. And my brother chased him for like 2 miles. Down with no shoes on, just bolting, trying to catch this kid, and the kid barely made it. The kid barely got away from my brother. So my brother came back. He's like, dude, my bike's gone, dude. It got stolen. And so my parents come home, and he told my mom what's going on. And one of our friends says, dude, just file an insurance claim for it. And we're all, what? He goes, it got stolen from your house. You can file an insurance claim. And we talked to my dad. My dad's like, yeah, really? you want me to file a homeowner's claim? And we're like, yeah, can you do it, please, Dad? So my dad goes, okay, fine. So we filed a claim with the insurance, and my brother got like $1,000 for his GHP. Like back, it was probably like a $600 bike or something like that. But it didn't have new parts, right? The parts were used, and it was put together. So my brother went down to Main Bikes, and got like a brand spanking new like a 80. I don't know, when did GHP come out? 84?
Probably 84, yeah.
84, like 84, brand new GHP, brand new flight cranks, brand new bullseye hubs, brand new everything, dude. So it actually worked out in his favor, dude. Like he upgraded his bike substantially because his kid stole his bike, man. So that was one of the stories that we had. Probably the best story, which I'll tell 2 more stories. I'm sorry, everybody out there. I hope you're enjoying these stories.
Yeah, these are funny, man. But real quick, before you tell the other one, when your brother came back, was his feet bleeding or jacked up? Because because when you're saying he was running full speed barefoot, I could feel it in my. I'm like, oh God, that must have hurt, dude.
Yeah. He was trying to get that bike back, but it all turned out the guy did him a favor. He got him a brand new bike. My brother had like 3 GHPs, so he loved his GHPs.
Yeah.
So let's go back to like 1980, 81, right around there. My brother still had his Mongoose, his Motomag Mongoose. I had my Jag, and my brother's bike was on the front porch.
Okay.
And, once again, we didn't learn, right? This happened 3 years prior, but my brother's bike was on the front porch.
Repeating the same mistakes.
Same thing. Got stolen, right?
Yeah.
So my brother realized, dude, my bike's gone, whatever. So he's trying to piece the bike together. We forget about it. Like 3 months later, it's like maybe my 13th or my 12th birthday, something like that. And my parents go, what do you want to do, Kevin? What do you want to do for your birthday? And so I go, I want to go to Huntington Beach for my birthday.
Okay.
So he goes, okay, so let's, so we'll go to, and I go, but I want to get a boogie board. And my mom's like, do you remember the Moray boogie boards?
What now? Boogie board, is that when you're sliding across the surface of the sand?
Boogie board it's like a foam thing. It's square, and you lay on it, and you could do spins and stuff like that. You lay on it.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
So in our city, Moray boogie boards were huge, but they were expensive, dude. They were like $60 for a Moray boogie board. And my mom and dad didn't want to pay for a real boogie board, so we got these fake, like styrofoam, like a cooler.
Yeah.
It covered in like a nylon type of thing.
Right.
We got these fake boogie boards, and we were going to the beach, and my dad tied the boogie boards on top of my mom's Mustang. So we had the Mustang with 2 boogie boards tied on top. It was a 69 Mach 1, which ended up being my first car. So we had the Mustang, and my brother and I were in the car. We go to the beach.
Yeah.
And we're driving down the 405. And all of a sudden, the string that was holding the boogie board snaps, and we look in the rearview mirror, and our boogie boards go flying, and they're bouncing all over the freeway.
Yeah.
And so my mom pulls over, and my brother and I jump out of the car, and we go, we got to save our boogie boards. So we're running across the freeway.
Yeah.
And I trip on one of those little reflector things that are in the middle of the freeway.
Yeah.
I trip on one of those. Boom! I'm laying in the middle of 405, and I look up, and there's cars coming.
God, dude.
And my mom's screaming, Kevin, get out of the freeway! So I get up, and I run to the other side, and then I get my boogie board. So I'm waiting, and half it's destroyed. It's all scratched up. And I'm waiting, and then I run back across the freeway with my boogie board, my fake boogie board. I get to the side of the freeway, and then my brother's boogie board is completely destroyed. So we kind of leave that one on the side of the road. We tie it back on the top of the car, and we continue on to Huntington Beach.
Okay.
So go to Huntington Beach, right? And we get out, and we got my birthday, so we got like my mom brought like a cooler and some chairs and an umbrella, all that shit.
Typical beach day, Typical
beach day, right? But we normally would get closer to the water, but for some reason we were like right next to the boardwalk.
Okay.
The beach. So we're carrying our shit out, whatever, and we're setting up. And while we're setting up, mind you, this is 3 months, about 3 months after my brother's bike got stolen. I turn around and I look, and there's like a kid that's about 7 years old riding a bike down the boardwalk. And I go, hey, Brian, dude, there's your bike. And he's all, F you, man, quit messing with me, dude. I go, no, dude, there's your bike. And this kid was riding my brother's bike down the boardwalk, and he goes, holy shit, that is my bike. So we jumped this kid, right? He was like, I don't know, he was like half our age. We were like a lot older. Yeah, we were 12 or 13, but this kid was like 6. And my brother's mongoose, he had it was a mongoose with red Z rims.
Yeah.
Red. I think he might have had snake bellies on it.
Yeah.
And the Haro Gen 1 number plate and that type of thing. And he stopped him. My mom called the cops, and the cops showed up, and they're like, well, how can you prove that this is your bike? And it's our bike. It's my, I swear to God, I know it's my bike. You know, everything's the same scratches. So the cop goes, well, talk to the kid. The kid goes, well, is it your bike? And the kid's like, well, it's my brother's bike. I heard he bought it from some guy. So the cop said, okay, go ahead and give the bike back to him. So we got the bike back, and my brother got his bike back, dude, after 3 months. And ironically, if our boogie boards hadn't have flown off the car, and we hadn't have been delayed, and if we would have went to the farther towards the water, if all these things that hadn't happened, then we never would have got the bike back.
Yeah,
the boogie boards flew off. It was
the universe put you in the right place at the right time is what happened.
Yeah.
No, real quick, and this is a good point. I was going to bring it up. It's like you can recognize your bike right away because no two BMX bikes were the same unless you were riding a completely stock bike. Same thing with my cousins. Like, I mean, obviously the second one that we saw, I knew it was his. I go, those are my CW handlebars I gave you. I recognize your Array 7X wheels. They're gold. I mean, everything was on it. I go, oh, there's your power disc, the Pro Neck that's chrome against the gold sprocket. You know, all these things. It's like you just recognize from no problem. I guess the police are like, how do you know it's yours? I'm like, how do you not know that's your son? You just recognize it, right? That's pretty cool, man.
But so, dude, okay, this story just popped into my head, but there was a time when in junior high school where if you rode your skateboard or skates or whatever the case, not a bike, to school, there was a shed that the vice principal would lock your skateboards in because he didn't want you riding skateboards all over the campus. And we had a GNS skateboard that we got from one of my dad's yard sale excursions, and we had this GNS skateboard, and it got stolen one week out of the shed, and a couple weeks later there was a kid that showed up with a GNS skateboard that looked exactly like the one that we had. And I went to the principal. I called the cops. I said, I want my damn skateboard back. That's my skateboard. The kid's like, it's not your skateboard, dude. I go, you lying piece of, you know what? And turns out it wasn't my skateboard, dude.
Oh. You shook the kid down.
The kid ended up said, fine, just take it. And I go, yeah, dude. And it turned out that I found out later on that my friend had my skateboard or something.
Sorry, that is so funny, dude.
Yeah, dude. Anyway, so there's one more story where I narked on some guy.
Okay.
I was probably, before I started racing, 15 maybe. And we all hung out at Garfield Park. I've told the story in nauseam, but that was where we hung out.
You're right.
Jumping trash cans, jumping picnic tables. And we would all it was like we did there for an hour all day long on summer days. So this kid rolls up on this brand new Schwinn Sting. It was probably an $800-900. It was a beautiful bike. Yeah, and he couldn't ride. He was like maybe 10 or something, real young. Yeah. And we were all sitting around, and there was older guys there that were older than me, like 2 or 3 years older than me. And I heard some talking, right? Just like, hey, we're gonna take this kid's bike. And I'm all, what? The kid's standing right there, right? I'm all, you're gonna take this kid's bike, man? And there's talk within the older kids. Okay. And they just they got this kid distracted, and
Right.
the older kid, he was 2 or 3 years older than me, got on the bike and just rode off. And the kid turned around and goes, "Hey, where's my bike?" Gone, right? And I was like, "Oh man," I felt bad, and I felt bad, dude. And then, but I didn't say nothing, man. Right?
Yeah.
This kid he was a lot bigger than me, older. He definitely could have kicked my ass.
Yeah.
So maybe a day later, whatever, I'm at the house and the cops knock on my door, and they said, "Are you Kevin Wilson?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Were you at Garfield Park the other day?" And I go, "Yeah, I was there." He goes, "Do you know anything about a stolen bike?" And I go, "Yeah, I'll tell you who took it." And I narked this dude out.
Whoa.
I narked this dude out because I thought it was kind of chicken shit that they stole this kid's bike. So
Yeah.
I guess they go and they got the bike back, and like a couple of days later, the guy, him and his brother, there was 3 brothers that were all older than me.
Yeah.
They came to my house, dude, and they got me outside, and they're like, "What's up, dude? You knocked us out, whatever." And for the first time in my life, I nutted up, and I said, "Yeah, what are you gonna do about it, dude? Let's go for it." And they're all, "Oh, no, okay, whatever." So I don't want to name them, but anybody that went to South Pass knows exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I narked the guy out, and I was like, I felt bad for the kid, but yeah, dude, he had the most beautiful Schwinn Sting, and I think he got it back, and we never saw the kid again. Poor kid. He might have been a little on the slow side or whatever. He didn't realize what was going on. But anyways, those are some of my stolen bikes. I probably have 2 or 3 more, but I don't want to bore the audience with 2 more. But those are my stolen. What else do you have? Sure, one more.
I think before I go into that, I really would love, like when we have guests come on, I'm going to say, give us your best stolen bike story, man. Because these are so interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, what happened? Did you get it back? Or what caused it to happen? The thing about stolen bikes is that it was all bad decisions on our parts. Oh man, you left your bike out where you shouldn't have, and that stuff's going to happen, but that's just crazy, man. It's just nuts. I can't really think of another one right now. That's the only problem. I'm sure I got a million of them. I just can't think of anything right now, man. I did find a bike though. I found a Diamondback Formula. It was funny because, like you said, you found a bike, and I was driving. And at this point, I'm an adult. I'm like 19. Well, the young adult. I'm like 19 years old, and I'm heading to college. I'm going to junior college. And I'm driving past the schoolyard, and I seen something shining in the sun, and I go, "Is that a bike?" And I turned around, went back, and it was a Diamondback, a Formula One or something. So it was a small, like an expert size bike, and it was just laying in the tan bark. And I go, "Why is this here?" And I'm looking all around, dude. There's nobody around. So I grab it, and I open up the trunk, throw it in the trunk, and go to school. And dude, I started feeling really bad. Just like you, I'm like, that's somebody's bike, man. It got stolen. I know what it's like. So I took it to the police station, and I said, hey, I found this bike. I found it in a schoolyard. It's been in my car all day. And they go, okay. And they checked it in, they tagged it. And dude, they took me into this room where there's just bikes as far as you can see. It's just loaded with bikes. And I go, what's all this? They go, those are all stolen bikes. And I'm like, holy crap, right? So they put it in there. I guess it's like an evidence room or something like that. And I forget all about it. And I think it was I'm telling you, like 6 months later, they called me. They go, hey, you can have it if you want it. I go, what? I go, no one recovered it, so it's yours. That's crazy, huh? Like I thought, yeah, and they gave it back to me. And I ended up giving it to my cousin, one of my younger cousins. I just gave it to him. Matter of fact, I gave him the bike in exchange for his CW frame and fork. I said, I'll give you an entire bike for that frame and fork because I need a frame and fork, and that's how I got my first CW.
What model CW was it? I
have no idea, dude. It was just a pro model CW from like 1983 or 84, and I ended up racing that bike for a little while because I cracked the frame on my bike and I needed a frame, and then I ended up selling that bike years later. I sold it, and that's another one, man. I should have just kept it. I don't know why I was just so inclined to just sell stuff. Like I'm like, you just have it.
Yeah. So anyway, so if you're out there watching this and you have good stories of getting bikes swiped and that you want to share, please reach out to Danny or myself. We'd love to hear them, have you come on tell a story. I've saved 2 or 3 stories for the next episode, so I won't go too deep into my stolen bike stories. But I have a couple more that I could share. But thank you very much for sharing that. I mean, I thought that was a pretty good segment for the show. I like that. That was fun.
Kevin, I wish your parents were still here so I can ask them. I go, so what's it like when the cops come looking for your son?
Okay. Here's the deal, dude.
Yeah.
When I first started doing videos like 4 or 5 years ago, right? I had no idea what I was doing. I had no content. I didn't have I still don't have a camera, but I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
And I was trying futilely to make content that's long gone. I deleted it. I couldn't. It just drove me crazy. But I was trying so hard. But I interviewed my mother.
You did.
I sat my mom down and I said, "Okay, Mom, I want you to tell people what it was like growing up with having 2 kids like my brother and I." And she would she told stories about how the cops brought us home on many different occasions. How she used to get pissed off at us because we used to ride our bikes. We used to go to apartment buildings on summer days and ride our bikes into the pools. And
oh my God!
Pull them out and then take off down the street and having the people chasing us for riding their bikes into their pools.
Yeah.
I mean, there was all kinds of stories how my mom would share. She was like, "Oh my gosh, it was so stressful. The cops calling me at work all the time." And I was like, it was funny, but like no one watched it. It was like had like 10 views. And I go, I gotta get rid of this video. So I deleted it. Now that my mom passed away, I wish I would have kept it. It would have been kind of funny to have her tell stories. But we were latchkey kids, right? Is that the deal?
Right. Yeah.
My brother and I raised ourselves really. My mom and dad were together. They didn't get divorced, but my dad worked at night, so he slept during the day all the time. So that left us to roam the streets, but we never got in any real trouble, man. We never got arrested. We never got arrested.
That's the funny thing you said that, Kevin, because like both my parents worked, right? And so, but my dad worked for General Motors, so he was usually home around 3 in the afternoon. So in the summertime, though, man, from the point where you wake up in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, we had free reign. I mean, do whatever. Just we never really got in any sort of real trouble. But man, I can't imagine nowadays just leaving my kids for like 9 or 10 hours and going, "I'll see you when I get home."
Are you familiar with the term dirt beads? Do you know what dirt beads are?
No. What's that?
When we used to go out, and my mom would always say, "Don't get any dirt beads," where you would have sweat and dirt from the track or from the lots, and it would be around your neck, and it would look like beads. It was like dirt that was in the sweat in your skin, and you have them on your wrists, on your ankles, around your ankles, and around your neck. And my mother would get pissed off at us because we had dirt beads. And we never wore socks in our Vans. So whenever we came home, we used to have to keep our shoes outside because they stunk so bad. And she would get pissed off at us because she goes, "Will you please wear socks in your shoes? You're destroying your shoes and they stink." So she had to try to bleach our shoes.
That is
I don't know if this is registering with anybody else but my brother. But that's what we have.
That's funny, dude. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's a whole other topic, man. We got to talk about that childhood in the 80s because there's nothing. My kids just don't. So they just ask me, "What was it like? What did you guys do?" And I'm like, I don't know. You just have to imagine a world without your technology, man. And we found ways to entertain ourselves, man. You know,
we never got arrested one time. I never got arrested.
Yeah, me either, man. As a kid, we'd be 3 cities over, 3 towns over, and still managed to get back home safely. I don't know how.
Yeah, what do you want? So you want to do comparisons, or what do you want to do?
I held on to last week's comparisons because Kevin and I were going to have a guest on from Germany today, so we're probably going to have to reschedule. And I was going to have him go through these today just to kind of see what his thoughts were. And how close they were to yours, but that was tough break. We'll do that another time. So I have a whole new set. So let me grab my highlighter, Kevin, because I need to highlight your answer.
Highlighter, dude.
Whatever I did with it. Well, I can't find it, Kevin, so I guess I'll just have to circle your answers. I must have dropped it. Oh, it's right here. Dummy. It's right here. All right. Okay, Kevin, so we'll play the same game. This is Kevin and I's game because we can't play trivia with each other. All right. So I
thought about how we could do that, but I never came up with a good plan.
Yeah, it would be tough. You would have to come up with questions. I'd have to come up with questions. We have to just go for it. And I'm like, Kevin's questions are harder than mine.
Dude, the guest that we were going to have on today, Danny was like, dude, I want to ask the questions. I took that as like, my questions are better and your questions are better. You're much better.
I wouldn't say they're.
I don't trust anybody else asking questions but me.
Let me handle the questions part. You just talk to people.
I'm just the looks, dude. You can answer the questions.
There you go. There you go, man. All right. So this one, I went through 15 questions, and just so if you guys didn't watch last week's episode, just dropped yesterday, actually. Basically, I'm just going to ask two different things that are BMX related, and I want Kevin to give me his preference, and then we're just going to chat about it. And then we'll wrap up the show because that's
not. And look, I want to qualify this because it's not that I think one is better or one is worse, whatever. Yeah. This is just for fun. It's off the top of my head. I don't want people to think, oh, you didn't choose me or they chose someone else. That means that they don't like this. No, that's not the case. This is just in fun. The first thing that comes off my, and then we'll save your judgment until we go back through the list and we can talk about it.
There you go. There you go. All right, are you ready, Kevin? Are you ready? All right. BMX Plus or BMX Action?
BMX Action.
Laid back seat post or straight? You didn't even let me finish. All right. Oakley grips or Amy grips?
Oakley.
SE Racing versus Redline?
SE all day.
RL Osborne versus Mike Buff?
RL.
Huffy versus Murray?
Oh, dude. Murray.
Murray, okay. Daryl Young versus Andy Patterson.
Andy Patterson.
In terms of Toby Henderson, Raleigh or Hutch?
Hutch.
Best ads, Diamondback or Mongoose?
Diamondback.
SoCal BMX versus NorCal BMX?
SoCal, all the way.
That one we're going to have fun dialogue. ABA versus NBL?
ABA.
Pro Cruisers versus no Pro Cruisers?
No Pro Cruisers.
Faster, Brent or Brian?
Brian.
DK pedals or DX pedals or bear traps?
DX.
Front brakes versus no front brakes?
Front brakes.
Front brakes. All right, that's it. That was easy. That was 15. Okay, so a lot of these I agreed with you. I'm going to tell you right now. So this is pretty good. All right, let's go to the first one. You said BMX Action over BMX Plus. Why do you feel that way?
I'm going with the crowd on this. Everybody likes BMX Action better.
Yeah.
I don't have. Honestly, I really don't have a preference. But you know, I've talked about where Scott Breithaupt was somehow he had something to do with BMX Plus.
Yeah.
In some facet early on, so that's why I kind of like BMX Plus. But I really couldn't care less.
Yeah.
They were the same.
I can tell you, like, for me, I'm going to say BMX Action, but it's almost like, are you an Android person or are you an Apple person? It's, you know, it's the same thing. They're both great, right? It's just, what do you prefer? And so, yeah, I'm going to say BMX Action was my choice. Okay, I said laid back seat post versus straight seat post. You said straight seat post.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it? You did not like the look of them, or did you feel they weren't functional? And you being a tall guy, I'm surprised you wouldn't want, you know.
But I wasn't tall growing up. I didn't get big till I got in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to be diplomatic about this, right? Where, I I think they're ugly. Number one, I think that they make now. There's certain degrees of layback seat posts, right?
Okay.
There's little bit, and then there's
extreme.
Yeah. Ironically, I have a layback seat post on my Power Light, but it's one of these things.
It just barely curves back, right?
At the very top, it's a Power Light seat post. But what I couldn't stand was I guess it's a CW that's with the big brace. That it's so bent that they had to put a brace underneath it to help. And anybody that rode that seat post sucked.
That's just extreme. That's just way extreme. It's like putting your handlebar Chicago style. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's not necessary to do that.
If you saw somebody with that layback seat post, you knew that they couldn't ride. It was a given. It was a tell. Now, I even racing, like I always had a straight post high, and even though hopefully someday we'll talk to Andy about the seat post. I
was gonna bring that up, Kevin, and I'm gonna get Andy's back on this. Andy invented the laid back seat post. Now, I personally had conversations with Andy on the phone, and his description of where that laid back seat post came from is so good. I go, that just sounds accurate to me.
Can you share it? Can you share it? We'll have Andy retell it later on.
And Andy wants to come on the show, so we're going to have him on eventually. That's going to be our one of our best guests ever, is to have Andy on. But he said that he broke his seat post or bent his seat post, and he was at a race. He took a pair of GT handlebars and cut them, and he used the top of the handlebar where it bends to create the seat post. And apparently it was the correct diameter where it fit inside the frame. And he made the first laid back seat post. Now he says, I wasn't paid for that. I was promised I was going to be paid for that. And I'll let Andy kind of touch on that. But his story just seems pretty good to me. And I can tell you, everybody had a GT laid back seat post for a while. It was a fad. I put one on my bike, but it was short lived because I didn't need it. I realized I didn't need it. So I went back to a straight. But anyway, that's my short story.
This is firsthand out of Andy's mouth to you.
Yeah, literally, I had a conversation with him on the phone. This is not. I've heard him say it on other podcasts. I have heard him talk about it, but I had a one-on-one. He called me and he said, "Hey, man, I don't care what anybody says. I invented that," and he's sticking to that. Yeah. So I'm gonna give it to him. I mean, why would he lie to me? There's no advantage to it at this stage.
So what was this? Was he proud of it, or was he like, or did he invent something that became a monster that he was like, oh, I wish I never did it? Did you have that kind of conversation with him or no?
Yeah, I get the sense that he's got ownership on it. He's proud of what he developed. And let's face it, they sold thousands of those things, man. They were all over the place. So I think they're bigger in the freestyle world than they were in the race world. But still, I mean, that was his innovation, because he's a tall dude, man. I got a picture of him. I'll send it to you, Kevin. I'm standing right next to him, and I'm literally half the dude's size. And so I'm thinking, how the hell did he ride an 80s 19-inch, 18-inch top tube bike? I don't know how he did it. And so that seat post is a big reason how he was able to.
He's about an inch taller than me. So I have a picture with him where like he's just like this, but he's a big guy.
Yeah, dude, I got to send you mine, and dude, as a matter of fact, tag it in this video where you can see the size comparisons.
Yeah. And we're not. We're just talking, right? We're not trying to push Andy to come on the show or anything like that. But if I ever did talk to Andy, I would like to ask him about the one pedal starts. That he was the last guy to do it. Yeah,
and he held on to that.
I want to ask him, would he do that just to piss people off? Like, I'm gonna do a one pedal start and still kick your ass. I wonder if that ever came into his brain, or he just liked doing the one pedal starts. If I would think that it would be like, you know what? I'm going to let you do your two pedal start. I'm going to do a one pedal start, and I'm still going to kick your ass.
That's dude. I got to tell you, man, that would be embarrassing if you're, especially at the pro level. If somebody, like, oh, I'm going to beat you with one pedal. I don't even need to stand up. Go ahead. Get your snap.
Yeah. Dude. That'd be my first question I'd ask him.
Yeah, that was a good. Anyway, we got off topic again, but we always do.
Good stuff.
All right, Oakley grips versus Amy grips. No hesitation, Oakley grips. But we've had that conversation.
Amy was when you were on a budget. Oakley is when you had money in the bank. Period. End of story.
Yeah, I agree. And but Amy's are still holding true, man. To this day, you can still buy a pair of Amy grips, and and they're still pretty cool. And they weren't at the low. I bought some grips the other day. I was just telling Kevin I had more parts put on the bike, and it was like I wanted to get some Amy's, but they just didn't have any in the store. You have to order them, but they got all kinds of different colors. But those Oakley B1Bs, man, they're super trick looking, right?
Even Oakley 2s, Oakley 1s, they were all good. Everything except for Oakley 3s. You know, we all make mistakes.
There you go. Yeah.
No one's perfect. No one's perfect, but Oakley 3s are the most horrid BMX grips ever made. Period. End of story. Dude,
it's like putting a pair of shoes on the end of your freaking grips. They were huge, dude.
But put ski pole handles on your handlebar.
There you go. That's a better comparison. All right. SE Racing versus Redline. You said SE Racing. You're a big SE Racing fan.
Oh, yeah, only because that's all, basically my whole life consisted of two brands, SC and then JMC. Really nothing. There was only a reach in between there, a little bit. But PK rippers and quad angles all day long. Then I went on to JMC. But SC, I understand that Redline is a great brand. They have great stuff. I just think that they made a couple mistakes. The Pro line, the MX2, and you know what? I recently, just for those that don't know my stance, the new subscribers, I just think that their seat tube angle was way too far. That's it. I'm not saying that they're not quality stuff. It's just way too much of a seat angle. Now, since then I've seen people talk about this online, and they kind of agree with me, saying, "Yeah, Redline, the geometry was jacked up," and I agree. And so we agree with that. Outstanding brand, historic brand. Redline stems, Redline cranks, phenomenal. Just their Redline B bars sucked, and their Pro lines had terrible geometry.
It was cool when we were at Dirty Fest, and you and I went down to the bike show in the morning, and that huge Redline booth, that was super impressive. Yeah. And I really loved. Now that I think about it, I would have loved to see an SE booth in the same fashion with all the history of SE racing, Scott Breithaupt, Perry Kramer, and all those epic. They deserve to have that sort of booth. I know, right? They were there. They were definitely a presence, but I think that would have been really cool to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would spend a lot more time in the SC trailer than the Redline trailer. Do you know? Okay, I'm talking half truths now. I'm pretty sure this is right. That the Assassin and not the Basher. The Basher is aluminum, but the Assassin and what's the other chromoly bike that they did?
The Holler, Anderson Holler. Yeah.
Did you know that the only reason they made chromoly frames is because they got into a fight with FMF, and FMF wouldn't sell them the tubing, or they ran out of tubing? Have you heard the story?
No.
Okay. I think it was now. Please, I'm going on half truths, so please don't kill me if online. But I saw an interview with, I think it might have been Mike Devitt. Where the only reason they went, because those are the only two frames that ended up being chromoly, right? The rest of them were aluminum.
I believe so.
There was a problem with getting tubing either from overseas to make the frames, or getting the tubing from FMF to make the frames, and that's why they went with the chromoly to make the Assassin and the Hauler. I think that.
Wow.
Everybody out there, please feel free to check me on that if you're an SE guy. I think a couple of people that worked at SE watch the videos.
You never surprise me with the facts. All right. Let's go on to the next one. We said R.L. Osborne or Mike Buff. You went R.L. Osborne. What made you go that direction?
because Arl Osborne was more of a. I think that Arl Osborne had his own kind of separate thing, right? Where it was either Mike Buff and Arl Osborne, but I never saw really Mike Buff separately. It was always like Batman and Robin, or Batman by himself. It was never Robin by himself. My memory could be wrong, but that's what I remember from back in the day. And I always get the feeling, like, I've watched a couple of interviews with RL, like he was like the reluctant BMX star.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
He didn't want to do nothing, but he's like, well, if you want, okay, I guess I'll do it. I kind of get that feeling from a couple of his interviews. Have you seen any of this? And do you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely have heard his interviews, and how he didn't even want to do rad. He just, okay, I'll do the intro. I'm like, what? Yeah, that's crazy. But I like one thing about Mike Buff, as obviously he was super rad, and but I loved what do you call it? The Mike Buff tribute bike that SE Racing dropped a few years ago, the white one with the blue landing gear, and man, that thing looks so cool. And they had one at my local bike shop. That thing was $900, and I was like, I should just buy that, just so I can have it. And I was like, it's just gonna sit in my office, and I should have bought it.
It was 900 new, not 900.
Yeah, 900 brand new. Yeah. Now you can't buy one for 900. If you find one, somebody has it, they're gonna want 1,500, $2,000 for it probably all day long. And I don't like the big ripper stuff. I like the actual 20-inch race bike version of it. I thought it looked really, really cool. Not that the big ones aren't cool. I mean, I know people love them, but I'm just not a big bike guy. So that's my opinion on it anyway.
You ever, I like the 24-inch quad,
Oh yeah.
15 years ago, whatever, when they came out with the 24-inch quad. Those are kind of cool. I can do that.
That's more of a race bike, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. So then, because I've gone through my little phases with cruisers. I like cruisers too, but nothing feels like a 20-inch to me. I just like being on them.
I'm kind of in the Eddie King camp where cruisers don't count, man. Like
that's
I never rate. I'm a big guy, and I still can't rate. I still refuse to ride a cruiser. Maybe it's to my own detriment. I don't know, but I raced a cruiser for about a month, and I realized that I'm racing guys that were ex-pros, and we're all on cruisers now. It's like, no, forget that. I'm not doing that anymore.
That is something I was going to tell you is like, I raced cruisers for one season. It was like 98, 99. I think I told you I was on a Specialized Fat Boy. And locally, it was okay because I seemed like I always had somebody to race. So it was okay. It was fun. But I went to one national. It was in Santa Clara, California. I want to say it could have been Spring Nationals. I got my butt handed to me, dude. These guys were just so fast, and I didn't get out of my motos. And here's one thing that's going to make you laugh. I was in my last round, third round, last chance to qualify, man. There was really only 3 of us left. All I had to do was finish second. And I'm in third, and I'm like, oh, God, let me just beat this dude. That dude slips his pedal, stumbles off his bike. My eyes got really big. I go, oh, here's my chance. I passed him. He regained himself, caught up and passed me again. I'm like, I remember I was like, that's it, dude. I'm going back to 20s. Yeah, I was like, that's enough, man. Because I think if you're a novice and you're on a cruiser, they'll just put you in the novice class. You just race other novices. But back then, man, you were just on a cruiser. You were racing experts. They were just all great riders. I mean, I was keeping up with the pack, but that's all I could do. I mean, locally I was competitive, but not at a national. I got my ass kicked, man.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We'll move on to the next question. I said Huffy or Murray. You picked Murray. Now that's a tough one because those are store bikes. Why did you lean towards Murray?
I'll tell you the real reason, because one of my favorite interviews was with Ron House, and Ron House. When I talked to Ron about this, he said that we know that Ron raced for Murray, Huffy, and Raleigh.
Okay. And,
I kind of teased him. I go, dude, you rode for the 3 lowest run companies out there, right? And we had a big joke. We had a big laugh about it, stuff like that. But He told me the story about how he showed up to a national in like Oklahoma. Yeah. It won the Grands. It was Ohio somewhere, and he doubled on a he took a stock Huffy out of the box and doubled at a national on a stock Huffy. On a Murray. I'm sorry, on a Murray.
Yeah, that's what it was, a Murray. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought that was so gangster, man. Like
that is that makes a point.
Now, when he told me this, my impression was that it was absolutely bone stock.
Yeah.
However, I think in subsequent information that I've obtained, I think that he said that he may have changed like the bars or the tires or something like that. But it was overwhelmingly a stock bike that he raced and doubled at a national on a Murray. And I just thought that was gangster, man. That's one of the cool stories.
That is so awesome. Because I agreed with you on the Murray, and here's why. Like, if I was not a racer and I was just wanted a BMX style bike, I think that the Murrays looked a little better versus kind of the Huffies did. Now I'm talking about the store-bought ones. So if you get yourself a stock Murray, it had the pad set, and it had the right look. I'll just put it to you there.
And they had the number plate on the inside of the front triangle, right? The Murrays did.
The earlier ones, yeah.
That's true. I like that.
Yeah. So if you were going to get one, that would probably have been my choice. I mean, it looked pretty cool, you know.
It came with number plates too, right?
I don't remember, honestly, Kev. I don't know. But I remember they had specific brands, and their marketing was awesome. Like, if you saw a Team Murray commercial, you're like, oh, if I wasn't a racer, I would have definitely said, I want one of those. They're half the cost of a regular race bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I would have agreed with you on that. I said, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that this morning I was watching the original Bad News Bears. Are you familiar? Are you happy? Do you like that?
Absolutely, dude. I love those, man.
Awesome movie, dude. Awesome.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was trying to watch Bad News Bears Breaking Bad, and it was on YouTube, and I tried to watch it, but there was no audio. Breaking Training. Yeah, it's when they were going to they played
the Houston Astrodome.
That's it. Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones, man. Yeah.
But the first one with Walter Matthau, and at the beginning of the movie, he shows up to get the information on the team, and there's like two Murrays out there with the number plates in the middle of the frame. And, I was like, oh, cool. And I think it was like probably 76 maybe when that movie came out. I have no idea. So there were good BMX bikes out there, but it was just like a Murray or something like that. That was in the movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Good comparison, dude. Yeah. Daryl Young versus Andy Patterson, dude.
Huh?
I said Daryl Young versus Andy Patterson.
Oh. Well, this will go back to our conversation at Dirty Fest. I know we're gonna have to talk about that. But my honest opinion now. Yeah. Daryl Young was probably one of the most naturally gifted riders there were in the 80s, bar none. But Andy was like, Andy reminded me like not a lot of flash.
Mm-hmm.
Just get the job done.
Yeah.
Show up. No big braggadocious, no big attitude, big, hype. Just shows up on the track, gets on the gate, and gets stuff done, and goes home and doesn't talk about it. That was my basic opinion of the two. So the reason why I said Andy was just because of that, and I love this bike. I love this frame and fork, and I love what he did with JMC.
What I like about Daryl and Andy is that they were like rock stars. Like you just see them and you know who they are. That's the one thing that they had in common. You know, it's like, wow, you had Daryl Young and Andy Patterson on your roster for JMC. That's nuts. That's like having Jordan and Kobe on one team. You know what I'm saying? It's like two studs on one team. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I just admired, like, you know what? He shows up. He doesn't talk a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe underrated to a certain extent, but he just got the job done and went home and didn't really just took care of business.
Yeah, I mean, who else could win a race on one pedal? One pedal start.
Man, that's awesome, man.
All right, so I said Toby Henderson, and I said Raleigh or Hutch, just because I was kind of I wanted to understand what you thought was cooler for him when he was on Raleigh or when he was on Hutch.
Yeah, there's no doubt that he was cooler on Hutch, but I'm a huge Toby Henderson fan.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Toby Henderson fan from back in the day. When he does the Henderson, I don't. You know what the Henderson is? Okay.
Yeah.
It was Toby Henderson.
Yeah.
Toby Henderson, Trash Can Morgan, Jumpin' Jim Pratt. These were my guys that I looked up to, and so I'm always going to be down with Toby Henderson. So Hutch was just a better bike, more high profile. So that's why I chose Hutch.
Another rider that really represents a sponsor well. Like, all his pictures are perfect, all his gear is perfect, and yeah, he's another rider that I would have definitely sponsored if I was in that position to sponsor somebody. He represents really well. Okay, so I said best ads. What I meant by best advertisements in magazines, I said Diamondback versus Mongoose, and you'd pick Diamondback.
Yeah, I think Diamondback is probably the best. Number 2 next to GT. I think Diamondback put the most money in.
Yeah, the ad campaigns between Mongoose, Diamondback, and GT were pretty epic. Like, they went at it. You could see they were really trying to like one-up each other and stuff like that. I thought it was really, really cool. But I agreed with you. Diamondbacks, man, full-page ads all the time. I mean, they really went all out. And so I definitely agreed with you on that one. This one's going to –
their bikes may not have been that great, but their ads were great.
100%, man. Damn, it makes you want one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this one's going to be controversial, and you're a Southern California guy. I'm a NorCal guy, but I said Southern California BMX versus NorCal BMX. He was like SoCal all day long.
What can you can't a tiger can't change the stripes, right? And if you're in NorCal and you choose Southern Cal, something's wrong. If you're in Southern Cal and choose NorCal, something's wrong.
Yeah, it's almost an unfair question for both of us because I'm NorCal guy, you're SoCal guy, so it's an unfair comparison for you. There's no way I'm going to say SoCal's better because I'm NorCal dude, right? Yeah, there's no way. But
so just to ask you, just hypothetically, well, not hypothetically, just ask a question. Was there ever any? Did you ever feel any jealousy about Southern California riders? Did you ever look, or you just said? There's Southern California, we're Northern California, we're all riders.
I think because I didn't ride at the level that those guys did, so it wasn't that I didn't have the prideful attitude about it so much like let's say the big stars of the sport did. So no, I wouldn't say so because I was a fan of everybody. So I was like, whether you were NorCal or SoCal. But I will say this, if a NorCal rider did really well, that I did like that. Charles Townsend, Terry Tennant, Brent, Brian, Cecil Johns, Jason, well, not Jason Richard, he's SoCal. But all these guys, I would see them and I go, man, those guys, Rick Palmer, those guys they live in my area. And I definitely got excited to see them do well. So I will say that, yeah.
Yeah, I never had that distinction about Northern back in the day. Now, yeah. But back in the day, I never even thought about NorCal.
Yeah, well, you're a SoCal guy.
Sorry. I never thought about NorCal. I just thought about, what I knew. I never differentiated Brent Brian Patterson from, Southern California, whatever. They're all just BMX racers. I never even knew they were from California. I never really put 2 and 2 together until recently.
Fair answer.
Yeah.
ABA versus NBL. You just picked ABA. Is it because you never raced NBL? Was that pretty much the way?
I probably raced. The only track I ever raced NBL for was the Azusa track and the NBL Azusa track, and I probably raced maybe 10 times at NBL at the War of the Stars, and maybe a couple other ones. I was always ABA, and I never even knew that there was. When I signed up to race, I never knew that there was an NBA. That there was a ABL or an NB, whatever. None of that stuff. I always thought that ABA was the first. That's how out of it I was. I was like, oh, okay. I never knew about any of the other stuff.
Yeah, I only have experience. I had an NBL membership only because our track converted from ABA to NBL for a short period. So I had an NBL membership, but I never raced anything other than the local. So I don't really have a comparison. So I have to say ABA because that's all I know. I didn't race NBL other than locally. So I don't really have a comparison for it.
Oh, but you didn't race any NBL?
Other than local, because our track turned NBL. So I got an NBL membership and I started racing under NBL, but let's face it, in California there wasn't a lot of NBL tracks. That's more kind of Midwest, East Coast, so it wasn't real. I don't have anything to really compare it to. I never raced the NBL National, so I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of guys swear by the NBL, man. They love it, and I go, I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Apparently, there's a differentiation between an ABA track and an NBL track. They're designed differently or something.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I don't know what the differences are, but apparently there are some differences.
Maybe we'll talk to Salami about it and go, hey, man, tell us a little bit about this NBL versus ABA thing, because we don't have a whole lot to compare, so maybe you can give us some feedback on that.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Okay, I said pro cruisers versus no pro cruisers, because currently there's no more pro cruiser class. And so you said no pro cruisers. Yeah, what was your opinion on that one?
I know that there's no
pro cruiser class, none. Yeah. So it's just pro. That's it. There's not even a pro anymore. It's just pro. So yeah, I think that was kind of I don't know, man. I like seeing an A pro and double A pro. I just think that's really cool because it gives you kind of a rookie pro versus, the top of the line. And then you see these guys go from A pro, they make it to double A, and it's awesome. I like to see that transition. Now it's just one mixed bag. So I don't know how you feel about that, but no pro cruisers. I think, I don't think there needs to be a pro cruiser class. Nobody wants to see them race pro cruisers. That was my opinion.
I would agree with you, but a couple of days ago, it might have been one of your videos where I saw a pro cruiser main. Man, I watch so much stuff, things get jumbled up, but
I definitely covered.
Whoever was in this race was flying, dude. And I was like, I never really paid attention to cruiser that much growing up, but I was like, dude, these guys were absolutely flying on cruisers.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have a respect for pro cruisers. Now, a 12-year-old cruiser, not so much, but pro cruiser, I found it interesting.
Yeah, well, they're just as fast. Obviously, they're just as fast. I don't know. I just never got as excited to watch it as I would like the regular 20-inchers.
Yeah.
All right, so I said faster, Brent or Brian. You said Brian.
Yeah, I don't think there's any argument about that with anybody. I think that's pretty much wouldn't you say that's pretty much the
yeah, I think it's fair to say Brent was kind of the trailblazer for Brian. I think Brent laid the groundwork for Brian to do what he did. So yeah, I would say Brian had a little bit more successful career, but Brent was a national #1 pro too. They were both awesome pros. So I just think Brent's era was a little bit before Brian's, even though they were racing each other. And then that's all my only opinion on that one.
Yeah, they're pretty. Obviously, we talked about them last week, and I don't want to talk about them every week, but yeah, they were. When I interviewed Vance.
Yeah, you interviewed Vance. I don't know how you got that one.
And we talked about the evolution of the Patterson frame. Yeah. And I kind of asked him, I said, did it bother you that other companies took your frame and put their stickers on it and wrote it? And he goes, no, man, it was great. I loved it. And I was like, well, that's very magnanimous of you to say that.
Yeah.
And then, he said that Brent designed the first Patterson frame.
Oh, nice.
It was all Brent.
Wow.
Brent. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, he designed it. So
I have to go back and watch that interview. I didn't know you yet.
Yeah.
When you did that interview, but I seen that video.
Yeah.
I go, oh, wow, this guy's interviewing Vance Patterson. I think he was sitting outside or in a car or something.
Yeah, outside in his patio. And ironically, I've never told anybody this that I can remember. I almost deleted that interview after I did it.
Really?
Yeah, I was so disappointed in my interviewing skills and the whole out. I was in my truck. I had to go to work, and So I was in my truck and I pulled over on the side of the road and the lighting and the everything, and I wasn't prepared. I had crappy questions, and I was so disappointed with myself and disgusted that I was I watched it and I'm all, this is horrible, and I was just about ready to hit delete, and then I think it was Brian sent me a text saying, "Hey, send me that. Can you send me the interview?"
Wow!
Oh man!
There you go.
So I said to Brian, then I just said, well, now that Brian has it, I'm going to publish it. So I published it. But yeah, that was back when, like, I hated, like, it sounds so silly and so trivial now, but, like, I don't know if you ever had the same where, like, I've done videos, I absolutely hate them, but I don't delete them. I keep them up because I just want to have videos on the. So I'll never go back and look at my old stuff because I hate all of it. All of it, like the last 6 months is what I
You know, there's a lot of like actors and actresses that refuse to watch themselves on the big screen or on TV. They go, "Oh, I never watch myself," and it's because you're your worst critic. And for me, yeah, it's like I think I told you a couple weeks ago. Every time I finish a video, I go, "I don't know if that's good." I always have that little thought, a little doubt in my mind. I go, I don't know if that's going to be good enough. And then I watch it later. I go, oh, okay, that wasn't bad. But I'll watch the new one. When I drop a video, I'll watch it a couple times just to kind of critique myself. And then after that, I don't usually go back and revisit it. You know, I just leave it there. Yeah. Okay.
Has this ever happened to you, dude, where you take a picture and you go, oh, after you take the picture, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't stand how I look. I'm fat. I'm whatever. This isn't the right angle. And then you forget about that picture. 10 years later, you find the picture and you look at it and go, hey, man, I looked pretty good back then.
All the time. The older we get, dude, the more shocked I am at the changes that have gone through. You know, I go, wow.
I mean, like, dude, there was a picture of me in the Marine Corps with no shirt on, and I'm like, oh, I hate this damn video. I hate this picture. And then I found the picture 25 years later and go, damn, dude, I was in really good shape when I was in the Marines.
It's almost like me, dude. If I see a picture of I used to hate my hair when I was a kid. It was wavy and hard to manage. And I see pictures of myself like, look at all that glorious hair. I'd love to have that back. All right, man, I got to pee. So let's go through these last two here. We got DX versus Bear Trap.
Yeah, DX, dude.
DX you love it. Yeah. And now I'm more of a platform pedal guy. Before I love the Bear Trap style pedals, but I got away from that now. I definitely love the flat platform pedals now. So I agreed with you on that one. And I said front brakes or no front brakes. You said front brakes. I was surprised on that one, dude.
I did run front brakes for a long time back in because I think Harry ran front brakes for a while. That's why they had him on the turbo. And, I did like, there was always something cool to just tap that front brake in the turn and just a little bit slow in it so you can dive bomb. So I did run front brakes for a while. I have no problem. The reason why I chose front brakes because, when you're doing rock walks and pogos and this kind of thing, you need front brakes. That's why I chose front
trick purposes. You like the front brakes.
You don't have to use them. I mean, they're there. Maybe they weigh a little bit of weight, but for the most part, if you need them, they're there. If not, don't use them.
There you go, man. And that's all I got, Mr. Kevin. We got another one in the books, dude.
Another in the books, dude. So I'm going to reach back out to you on maybe tomorrow night. We'll do it because I have someone that wants to come on. So hopefully you're okay tomorrow night, maybe.
Just let me know, and then I'm done working at 5 o'clock, so just let me know, and I'm here, work from home.
So if you have any trivia questions or whatever, we could use those for tomorrow night. But anyways, for those new people that are here, new riders on subscribing to the channel, thank you very much for everybody subscribing and watching. And Danny does not just do this podcast; he has his own thing. Danny, this is the time in the podcast where you sell your channel. Go for it.
Oh, Danny Pena, BMX Racing. Please come like and subscribe. Magazine reviews, BMX race reviews, and all kinds of BMX-related content. Channel starting to grow. We're almost 1,000, man. I'm just struggling right along. 927.
Get Danny to 1,000.
Get me to 1,000, guys. Let's go. That's it.
Man. Okay, if you would like to support the BMX Podcast, check out BMXPodcast.com. You can contact me. You can grab a shirt, hat, whatever the case may be. And with that, it's it. That's it. The races are over. People are loading the cars. And until next week, the track is now closed. Peace out.